Hello! Today we're going to talk a little bit about future time clauses. We're going to talk about verb tenses that we use with future time clauses and a little bit about punctuation. If you'd like to fill out a worksheet while you watch the video that goes along with the video, if you click the link in the description for this video, it'll take you to the worksheet. You can print it out and fill it out while you watch the video. So first, as we start talking about future time clauses, let's look at a few example sentences and think about, with the example sentences, are we talking about past, present, or future? So let's look at this sentence here. When he gets home, he will do his homework. Is this sentence talking about past, present, or future? And it's talking about the future. And here, after he does his homework, this evening he is going to watch TV. In this situation, we're talking about future once again. He's going to eat a snack while he is watching TV tonight. Once again, this sentence is looking at future. So, we're talking about time clauses today, and when I say a time clause, let me explain what I mean. First of all, a clause. A clause is a subject plus verb combination. So I combine a subject and verb together to get one meaning. Now, when I say a time clause, the time is the thing, it's a clause that's going to tell me when something happened. And the word that gives us that when is what we call a time subordinator. And some examples would be when, before, after, as soon as. These are words that will be at the beginning of the time clause that tell when some action happened. So here I have a time clause. It is when I eat lunch. I have a subject and verb, I and eat, and then I have my time clause subordinator, which is when. If I read this, something about this doesn't feel like a complete sentence. It feels like it needs more. When I eat lunch, what it needs is what's called a main clause. Say, for example, when I eat lunch, I'm going to read the newspaper. When I eat lunch is my time clause. It's a subject-verb combination. And then the main clause, I am going to read the newspaper. So, we have a main clause and a time clause. Let's go back to our example sentences. When he gets home, he will do his homework. Remember, this was talking about the future. After he does his homework this evening, he is going to watch TV. Once again, we're talking about the future. And he is going to eat a snack while he is watching TV. Once again, this sentence is about the future. Let's look at the first one. When he gets home, he will do his homework. Now, if I look at the main clause, it is he will do his homework. That's future. But if I look at the time clause, when he gets home, what's the verb tense here? And in this situation, for this time clause, I've used present simple tense. Even though we're talking about the future, we use present simple tense in this time clause. After he does his homework this evening, he is going to watch TV. The main clause, he is going to watch TV. That's future. However, if I look at the verb in the time clause, after he does his homework this evening, does, that's present simple. So the time clause here and here, present simple. He is going to eat a snack while he is watching TV tonight. He is going to eat a snack is my main clause. That's future. But if you notice my time clause, while he is watching TV tonight, that is present progressive. So if I look at these three sentences, what rule can I get about time clauses about the future? Well, here's the rule I have. Use present tenses for time clauses about the future. Okay. Notice how I said present tenses, plural, because you could use present simple or present progressive. Sometimes you could use present perfect. So there's different present tenses you could use, but if it's a time clause, it has to be one of those present tenses. Let's do a little bit of practice where we combine two ideas into one sentence. Here I have first, she will brush her teeth. Second, she will go to bed. If I want to combine these ideas into one sentence, before she goes to bed, she will brush her teeth. One thing you'll notice is in my time clause, before she goes to bed, that is present simple, goes. Up here, where it's a sentence by itself, second, she will go to bed, I have will go, future. Okay, when I put it into a time clause, the verb tense changes to present simple. I could do it this way as well. She will brush her teeth after she goes to bed. And in that situation, we have after instead of before, but it logically doesn't make any sense because you would brush your teeth first and then go to bed. Let's try another example. I'm going to put on my socks. I'm going to put on my shoes. First socks, then shoes. So I'm going to put on my socks before I put on my shoes. Here I have I'm going to put, and down here when I use the time clause, before I put on my shoes, going to goes away and I just use present simple. And after I put on my socks, I'm going to put on my shoes. And once again, with the time clause subordinator after, I have the subject and then I have the verb. Put becomes present simple, changes from future. One other word that's a little bit different, it's not a time clause subordinator, but it follows the same pattern as words like before or when or after, is the word if. And if I use a sentence with if, where I'm talking about if plus some future possibility, then I'm going to follow the same pattern where I use present simple in the if clause and then future in the main clause. Let's look at this situation. I'm going to win $1 million. Notice I have my lottery ticket there. I'm going to win $1 million. I'm going to buy a big house. First I'll do this, and then I'll do this. This is not so much first, second. I'm looking at if this condition, then this result. So if I win $1 million, I'm going to buy a big house. Notice the if clause is if I win. That's present simple. And then the main clause will remain in the future. I'm going to buy a big house. And continuing with this, if I win that $1 million, I'm going to buy a big house. If I buy a big house, I will have a party. If I buy changes to present simple because it's in the clause with if, but then the part about the party, that's future, so I'll use I will have a party, future tense. One more point I'll make regarding time clauses in the future is about punctuation and when do I use a comma. If I look at this sentence, when I go home, comma, I'm going to make dinner. The rule with commas for these kinds of sentences is when the time clause is at the beginning of the sentence, like here, when, then after the time clause, I have a comma. So the pattern would be time clause, comma, then main clause. If I take this sentence and I flip it around and say, I am going to make dinner when I go home, in this situation, there is no comma. When the time clause, when I go home, is at the end of the sentence, a comma is not necessary. So the pattern here would be main clause, then time clause with no comma. So once again, I only need to have a comma when the time clause is at the beginning of the sentence, and I put the comma at the end of the time clause, not directly after the time clause subordinator. So today I've talked about time clauses, about the future. I discussed how when I have a time clause, I use present simple even if the idea of the sentence is future. So in the time clause, I use present simple. The main clause, I could use future tenses. I hope you've learned something and enjoyed the video. Thank you.